So let's talk about the banking crisis. So there are people that feel like we passed the worst. It's almost done. But then we're seeing reports that are saying this is just the calm before the storm. We're seeing the wind pick up and then it calmed down, and before that big old twister just dumps out of the sky. There are people that are saying the dollar has secretly crashed because we have the BRICS nations that are making deals with Saudi Arabia to trade in the digital yen, which most BRICS nations have agreed to trade in, as well as ruble. Most Americans have never known a time where the dollar was not, top dog. The dollar being the world reserve currency that it is because it's based on petroleum, which means, everybody buys petroleum in dollars, is the reason for American supremacy. The average American, even your elderly, your wise people, have never seen a time where the dollar was not king. But you got to realize, without this reserve status, that dollar is just a worthless piece of paper. People don't realize that. The only thing that makes that thing as valuable as it is the fact that people are willing to accept it in trade. So, we're looking at, the dollar's value basically collapsing. We've seen things like this before. Now, a lot of people believe we're going to be swapped over to a new digital currency. And that's highly likely because they're looking at controllable, programmable digital currencies where they can tell you what you can spend your money on. It's already happening in China. To kind of get an idea of what that would look like, we could look at FDR when he basically signed into law that owning gold was a crime. And they guilted people into turning in their gold dollars in exchange for the American dollar system. Now, people turned it in and they were told they were going to get back their money. What happened was they did not get back what they put in. What the gold was valued at that time when FDR took it, well, he only gave back half of the dollars that the gold was supposed to be worth. So he devalued the gold. That's likely what's going to happen with crypto. They're going to let you turn your US dollars in for this controllable cryptocurrency. But you're only going to have about half the value. They're going to devalue your money. And the dollar's already collapsing. Will this digital currency even be viable? Or will it just be like another crypto coin that nobody wants? I mean, crypto is like hemorrhaging right now. Up and down, up and down. But what can you do as an average person? You have a lot of cash on hand. You've been saving cash. Grandpa said, put the cash in the mattress. And you've kept a lot of cash on hand. And let's say you have thousands of dollars in cash. Or you have a crap load of money in a savings account that you can withdraw. Because now's the time to be getting your money out of the banks before there's a bank run and, your money is not, you're not able to get it, or it's just not worth anything, or it's not backed. And you're never going to see that money. It's kind of like FTX when it crashed. I mean, the average Joe was not able to get his money out. Yeah. And that's not federally backed. And money, our dollar is only, the banks are only federally backed up to so a certain range. So what would you do? Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to do it. I have to say all these things for legal terms, but what I would do, here's what I would do. If I just figured this out, I would take my cash and I would begin to buy hard assets. Now, here's the thing. It's not worth anything. It's all on the respect for the dollar. Now, the average American, the one that's going to look at you and think you're an idiot if you try to pay him in cryptocurrency. The one that is going to look at you and think, my grandpa's done this forever. It's going to take him a while to finally realize this is not going to be worth anything. He's going to think he can turn that into the government and get digital currency back for it. That's the person you're going to spend your cash with. You're going to buy his ammunition. You're going to buy his equipment, his tools. You're going to put your money in hard assets. You're going to put your cash in hard assets. You're going to put them up. A lot of people have called preppers stupid. But my food is going to still be worth the same, if not more, after this crisis. My equipment, my ammunition, my firearms will be worth more. Because this is going to be something you've never seen, your dad's never seen, your grandparents have never seen. There's going to be people out there that'll think things are going to go back to normal, just like they did the first 3 or 4 weeks of the pandemic, before we realized they had some kind of plan already in place to take your freedoms. And those people are going to look at you like you're an idiot. They already probably do treat you like an idiot. Because you look ahead, you think ahead, and the average person does not think that far ahead. They don't care. They're thinking ahead is putting money in a 401k or a savings account. And in the end, they're going to have a bunch of money that they're going to have to trade in for half its value in digital currency. And I know this sounds underhanded, and I'm not telling you have to do it, but I'm saying if you've got a lot of cash and you got to offload it, now, and you see this happening in real time, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. I'm not telling you to do it. That's what I would do. Yeah, I would buy their ammo. I would buy food. I would buy equipment that I know is going to last. I would even offer them a little more. I would offer them asking price. I would offer them a little more because that would cause that transaction to go quicker. You already see the rich doing this with land. You see them taking their money and investing in hard assets. They're investing in food. They're investing in equipment. They're investing in property right now. I mean, unprecedented amount of bunkers being built. Unprecedented amount of people buying land and moving out of cities. Most of the businessmen I know right now, they're buying land. They're moving their currency into hard assets. Why? Because that land will not lose its value. If you're a landowner, hey, that's a good thing. You own it. It will keep its value. If you're a renter, well, you don't own anything except maybe your vehicle, unless you use public transportation. And it can go either way for you. You will have the clothes on your back. You may still have your job if that does not crash and just, somebody will buy it with the new currency. People have set themselves up to be rich during this. But when the USSR collapsed, when their currency became worthless because of the collapse that they're experiencing at that time, that's what they were doing. They were buying precious metals. They were buying gold. They were buying hard assets. They were buying things that normally investment groups probably wouldn't buy, but they had to get that money into hard assets. And when you read behind people like James Wesley Ross and you read his book series about, basically an economic crash, America flies into insanity. Okay? And that's one of the things that the people in this story do. Once they see it happening, they start spending cash. And they're able to find people that take that cash. They're able to find hardware stores. They're able to find, regular retail stores, privately owned, people that will take their cash money. That they were able to get out of the bank in time. They had thousands of dollars. They're preppers. And that's a common thing that preppers talk about. They talk about being able to still use cash because people are oblivious to what's happening around them. Yeah. Get your money in hard assets if you see this start happening. And you're one of those people that's able to get your money out in time. Because that will give you some value. They may call you a hoarder for a week after you buy all this stuff up. But then when you have it and the government can't control the trade that you're, doing, kind of black market trade you're doing behind the tables, trade's always existed. And people have always bought from one another. Well, they're not going to be able to stop that person from buying a bill of groceries and trading it to you. They may be able to control that programmable cryptocurrency, and that person might only be able to buy groceries. Well, then they got to come to you if you have that thing they need that you put up. And then you have what you need, and you can charge a little more exorbitant fee. I mean, I'm not going to tell you to get wild and be crooked, but do make sure you trade your stuff for equal or more value. Be wise in what you're doing when you're dealing with a non-currency trade environment, But yeah, I would, if I seen that happen, that's what I would do. I would tell you, if I had a few $100s in cash, US dollars, and I seen it being devalued at that point, I would go out and I would spend my money. And I would, I'm not going to do this to somebody that I know is going to be hurting. There will be people that do that. I'm going to find that person that has always bragged about everything they had, that has always bragged about all their money being put up. And it's not going to hurt them to lose a few extra things. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to offer them a whole lot of cash for it. And they're going to laugh at me, and I'm going to put that up. And then when that money they have, maybe they got hundreds of thousands, $250,000 put in their 401ks. Well, they may have $200,000 in there. They may have $100,000, and they're going to get half of that back in digital currency. They're not going to be able to brag anymore. A lot of people won't. But you'll have averted some of your devaluation as just a regular person. And you'll have tools. People will trade for tools. Because people are going to be needing tools to do a lot more when they have a lot less money. And those same people that have laughed at you and bragged about what they had while you had very little, well, you're all going to be on an equal playing field. So that is what I would do. I'm not telling you to do it, but that's what I would do.